constant communication open. Excuse me. At the truancy board level, anyone within the truancy board can call a meeting of the truancy board at any time. So if we had a tribal program that hadn't seen this family like they were regularly scheduled to, then they could call and say, hey, we haven't seen so-and-so in X amount of days. They've missed this many last appointments. Let's come back together and have that meeting. And a parent can do that. Any of the resources that we bring in are allowed to do that. When it comes time that maybe the truancy board isn't working and we're still having this high rates of truancy with this student, then we as a truancy board will vote to move on for prosecution or a truancy recommendation, whether it's prosecution for the parent or prosecution of the status defense for the student. And we would never go and move forward with that without a consensus of the board. Also, a thing that we have added into the code is that RST Education is the only entity that can recommend a truancy petition to Children's Court. We just did that so we weren't duplicating the services over and over again.
Yeah. So this code has, really given us the opportunity to make some systematic changes as far as, we streamlining services, just better, just better relationships with our schools and our families, building that gap between, the school and families. And we know that, in our outer lining schools, a lot of parents don't really feel comfortable. And so we're just trying to, do what we can on each level to help our families. So with the school, there's a set responsibility, set timelines, and it's just holding each other accountable.
And then we don't want to keep our students or our parents in this circle of constantly criminalizing or penalizing them. So this will fall away at the end of every school year. If you are in the truancy process at any point, that falls away when the school year ends. And then if you've accumulated 60 days of regular school attendance, whether you're at the school level, the truancy board level, or the court level, that gets dismissed and falls away as well.
So, and then just backtracking a little bit, like you said, with the duplication of services, like where this came about was that, we do have a lot of, I don't say a lot, but there are some families that do not take, our truancy law very serious. We have children that have, due to COVID, and we just have children that have not been in school for a couple of years now. So this has really given us kind of like that backbone to address those issues. Yeah.
Another thing in the code, so the state had changed their homeschool law to if students wanted to homeschool, they didn't have to come in for state testing. They can still be allowed to play in sports. There's really no tracking of the homeschool. If students are subject to the code here on RST, then they must report that curriculum to tribal ed. So if a parent wants to homeschool, you can't just say, I'm going to homeschool, and then not be actually educating your students. So, any other questions?
You have a lot of input or voice towards the parents and families, guardians, etc., etc. How is your staff able to hold up your end with all the schools and area, when they're wherever?
Yeah, very
Do you have the manpower or just over?
So, I mean, it is overwhelming when we look at it, but that's where we really do believe in in data and collecting the data and, keeping track of how many kids we have that are aging out, that we're losing opportunity with, when it comes down to what services, are most needed with our children. And in the long run, we just, to use that to our benefit for funding to build our team. I mean, bigger, right now, there's 3 of us. And we do have our lead advocate. She's been in this for, over a decade. So she's already have established a lot of these relationships with the school. And this code has just given us the ability to strengthen those relationships. So, right now we're in really groundwork with this. But, as the years come, we're so open to input and change that, to, I guess, line all these things out. Yeah.
We hope to build upon that. Our team's always been small. There's always been 2 to 3 truancy advocates at RST Education. And so kind of in that's kind of where the code came from as well, just to kind of streamline that process and have an exact way that we're getting referrals from every school. so that we're not getting this this many days, this at this many days. So,
Because we would be, in the past, we were just working off of these lists that have, 30 to 40 students just in one school, and we would have to track down their information. We'd have to track down, who are they with, blah, blah, blah. So it's just kind of, we're taking on the same amount, I guess, of work, but now it's organized. It's going to be organized.
yeah, the code has given us a more clear process with which to handle it.
Yeah. And that we're all on one page with all the schools that we do work with. And even though this code is one of our biggest priority, we're advocates first for our families. And I think, in whatever capacity they need us to be there, that's just what we do. It changes every week.
Yeah.
Speaking of advocacy, what other programs do you have to help grandma and grandpa who are raising the grandkids, to help them? If someone says, one of the students says, I don't want to go to school, I'm done with school,
Yeah.
they need help, you know what I mean? They need,
Yeah, so it's based on that individual, of course, each circumstance is different, but our truancy board has given us, again, like the opportunity to really work on those relationships with our programs, and just kind of bringing them in, getting their buy-in for this code. And we're also looking at alternative options. We know, with everything being online, there's no reason why we can't have, some type of mental health support. So, it's just, we're building this truancy board right now. We're doing education plans with some of our really high risk that haven't been in school for a couple of years. And, based on that individual's needs, if home is the biggest barrier, we do assist in getting to boarding school, whatever it is that's going to help that child succeed, we explore that.
And for the older students that are maybe with grandma and grandpa that just say, I don't want to go to school, that's why we've added in the failure to attend for students ages 12 and up, so that it doesn't fall criminalizing the grandparents.
Yeah, we've explored several scenarios, whether it's a grandparent who has, a teen who just is not cooperating, or if it's a child who their family is their biggest barrier. This code is able to kind of support where we need to help.
Another thing that we've added,
What other programs consist your truancy board?
So we've had conversations with Wichita Comp, we've had conversations with the Youth Homeless Shelter, we have something scheduled with Southern Plains Behavioral Health, TGKP. So we've been kind of talking back and forth with various, and then we've talked with PMO, so various tribal programs to bring in and have those conversations with. And we're always open to expanding that as well. We'd like to have as many partners and resources as we can on the truancy board.
The schools?
Yeah,
we work with all the schools.
Yep,
Yeah.
so the two constants in a truancy board will always be someone from the school and someone from RST Education.
So, and then.
we'll give you Becky.
Yeah. But as far as the truancy board, that's another thing that we deal with around here is, everybody kind of does work in silos, and we don't really have, a lot of communication as far as like what this program's doing, aside from like Facebook and everything. But the truancy board is going to help relieve some of that just by working collectively instead of just sending out referrals and hoping, somebody answers to them. It's just kind of raising the bar for us at Tribal Ed for our programs. And we do see it as, for them, it's numbers. It's a way to get more funding. Yes.
What are you asking from the schools? Like, what services, what communication lines, what, something breaks down, how are you going to react to it?
So aside from the timeline on what, the school's responsibility is, they're basically, we're asking the schools, and we've for almost 2 years or a year, I went over this code with the schools that we work with, and, oh my gosh, what was I gonna say?
So there's school staff that have sat in on these meetings initially, like in writing, there were school staff from your guys' school as well as like Todd County, White River, Winter, when we were in writing of this to see what fit for everyone.
I think for the most part, they're just asking for our documentation documentation to prove that we've gone out and tried to notify the family, and most of the time, like as a meeting place here.
Right, yeah, so at each level, like for the schools, we're asking, to exhaust all of their resources and means to help that family. And they're the ones that work with our children one-on-one, so it's, they're the ones that are gonna be able to really identify those barriers. So that way, when it comes to us, we're not doing so much digging around, we're not, spinning our wheels. We're able to just kind of look at that individual case and get what help we can on a bigger scale.
So this will start this coming year, then this will start beginning, or the?
It'll start in August, yeah,
August, okay.
because it's passed through, it's now in the code.
Any other questions, comments?
We're just really happy that we finally have some teeth
Yeah.
to
And
Yeah.
assist our schools and work with absences, especially coming out of the pandemic, where we really had issues with high school. Our principal can attest to that. Just not enrolling and coming back. So.
yeah, that's a big issue right now.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Donna, you still with us?
Yes.
You have the floor.
I can't remember when we last met, but we had a meeting, our education meeting in June. We got one coming up next Wednesday. I did mention that resolution, but I'd like to, when is the next meeting? I'd like to do that wording, take it back to, Eric, and then bring it back to the school board again.
July 13th.
Okay. I'll do that then.
Okay.
Other than that, Danny, have you gotten any response from anyone on the J1?
Yeah, I've been, for the past couple of days, I've been visiting with Scott Herman and with Wayne Boyd over that, and also Mark Van Norman. And so right now, we do know that the letter for asking for the IGA waiver for the J1s, either the waiver or the extension for the 4 that had to go back, the letter is now at the Department of State. They're just waiting on a receipt from the Department of State saying that they got the letter and then what their decision will be. So we're hoping that maybe by Friday we'll have word, because that letter went on Tuesday. So we've been in close contact with our tribal president and with our tribal lobbyists in Washington, D.C. So we're holding out for something hopefully by Friday, and then we can start working on something to bring them back.
Okay.
So we've been,
Well, thank you.
yeah, we've had really good response.
All right, thank you.
4 right now.
Other than that,
and then
I have,
2 will leave at the end of this month if we don't get the extension or the waiver.
Mike Charles, we start ready to start on claims, just like 30 minutes.
But, had this
if
process
the waiver happens, oh, sorry.
Yeah, had this
If the
process
waiver
started 2 years
happens while
ago.
they're gone, then they can turn around and come back?
Yes. They can start, as soon as they get that stamp on their visa over in the Philippines to come, then they can start the H-1B. And that's more of a permanent visa than the J-1.
Is all of this on their own expense?
No, we've been helping them all the way through.
Because J1's actually a training visa.
Yeah.
So they come here to learn how to teach or whatnot, and that's why the 2-year home things.
It's been quite expensive. But we wrote some of this into the American rescue plan, but the process started so late. It should have started 2 years ago. Then we wouldn't have ran into these deadlines, but we're hopeful. Since we came in April, we started it, that we'll have a response hopefully by Friday, because it's been moving quick now with the head of the assistant, or the special assistant to Deb Holland. That's where this was at, so. We learned a lot in immigration law in the last couple months, since we've been to DC.
Also, I sent an email, will that affect the school in any way? Do we need to participate in that regarding the consultation?
I think we should, just in case, because we're looking at hopefully applying for that middle school facilities.
Chatfield.
Yeah, I think we should be part of that consultation. It's always good to get our information in anyway. And the biggest thing, again, it goes back to Maximo. Although we put our things in, nothing ever moves. But it's always good just to get it in there.
I'm thinking that I might need a motion to support that, so I can take it to the education committee and then go forward from there.
Okay.
Yay or nay?
Yes, you'll make it, or should we, or? Just
It would be nice if someone
Okay.
made it and either did the recommendation or directive or hand deliver or something. Just kidding.
This letter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you all get a copy of that then?
It's in the email, guys.
Yeah.
You have it.
Yeah.
Make a motion to support.
Georgia moves in support of the letter. I don't have it. Can't find it.
It's the school facilities design handbook.
That one.
So basically what it's gonna do, it's gonna change some of the regulations to match how they build schools now. Because we know that under these old regulations, the moment anyone moves into a school building, they're already, outgrew it. So that's what they're asking for, is that kind of input into regulations, school size, school, how many students could be in a classroom legally, that kind of thing. So it would really be good for us to have our
But
input.
they haven't done that.
No, it's coming up. Yeah, they haven't done it in probably,
2007.
yeah. So it'd be really nice to get that in there.
Georgia moves to support this. Need a second? Oliver? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Donna?
Yes.
5, opposed 0, not voting 0, motion carried. Monday, July 25th, 2 Eastern Standard Time. Who's gonna jump on that? Who's gonna-
So probably myself, Joel, and Fred.
Anything else, Donna?
No, that's it. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks, Donna.
Each by lasagnas for you, so.
I was just gonna say that. I had to listen.
Who's in the business manager report?
I am. Alright, you have the floor.
What first, the expenditure report for May. BIE funds, Title I, Title IIA, state schools, transportation, ADS sped, JOM, operations, maintenance, base, enhancement, repairs, ESSER 3 ARPA, travel grant support cost, Tuesday immersion, sterile donations, Title 7, Title 6, from lead, teacher housing, general fund, cost of fee raisers, food service and health for a total AP of $1,176,574.01. Payroll spreadsheet, pay dates were May 13th and May 27th, 2022. May 13th. Payroll spreadsheet was $374,320.51. May 27th was $377,593.97 for a total of $751,914.48. Bank statements, the BIE grant account, beginning balance of $49,664.49, and the ending balance of $49,327.66. General fund, beginning balance of $194,583.90, and ending balance of $15,575.53. Employee loan account, beginning balance of $94,874.30, and ending balance of $106,487.20. Health insurance account, beginning balance of $423,227.11, and ending balance of $470,485.69. The security first CD option, opening balance of $1,046,383.22, and closing balance of $1,046,383.22. Demand savings options, ICS, beginning balance of $19,194,267.69, closing balance of $17,632,980.64. Fuel bids, there was no other bids received. Motion to continue with current vendors. Those are the numbers for the visits.
Any word on our sign yet?
They moved it
Moved it
because
back.
of the chip shortage.
Yep. So August, I think was the new date. And that all depends on if the chip shortage comes in. 'Cause I know I think some of the same stuff that Pete's facing for a lot of ours.
Sitting on a freighter somewhere in the ocean. On a freight somewhere, floating.
What else? Oh, the commercial insurance. Cali Insurance Agency, commercial property for the year, 7,866, or for the premium, 70,866. Package liability, the option one is 15,107. Auto, 30,652. And the crime policy of 7,750 for a total of 124,375. Just for information, it did go up, it did increase, but a lot of it is due to inflation, and he did break it down for Maria as to these are the new numbers.
This is what she's recommending then?
Yeah. And then we have the lease agreement for Gruder.
Any questions? Comments? Forever hold your peace. Then a motion to approval for Cali Insurance for $124,375. Georgia moves. Need a second.
Donna, second.
Donna. All in favor, motion to Jan. 1, 2, 3, 4. Donna.
Yes.
5, opposed, 0, not voting, 0. Motion carried. You guys get a chance to look at the computer of all lease. commercial lease agreement.
Basically the same terms as the last one.
Kurt, you see anything on it?
No,
You
yeah,
have
yeah. They looked it over and they agreed with it.
So is it for another year or?
Yeah, for another year. Kind of so far, the timelines on the expansion of the admin is, they were looking at maybe the start of January or so because of the design build, and they did do the environmental and the soil impact, and those were good, so. We had our lawyer look over those contracts and stuff, and so they kind of said that we should probably still shop around because they were inflating a lot of things in there and additional costs that were really necessary, so we just need to advertise again, see what we could get for a better offering for the money that we have for that expansion. But we are doing the bleachers and the demolition separately outside of that design build for the expansion and for the O&M building.
Danny,
Yep.
you know the lady that works with, Crow Creek School, she said she was here, on that day, but she said if anybody had any information, she was architect also. Do you know her?
From Crow Creek, huh? What?
She said they were the council and she was the school board. I have her card, I'll send that to you, but
Okay.
she might have some good information for you.
Yeah, so we had our lawyer look over those contracts and they just were inflating a lot of things in their unnecessary costs, and we only have a finite number of dollars for the expansion and the O&M, so that was their recommendation, to shop around still.
You ever did map all figured out?
Not yet. That needs to be done. We did give everything, Joe did give everything to our lawyers to
It's more
review.
accurate than the layouts.
Right.
Yeah. I need entertain a motion for approval for the commercial lease agreement, AKA Gruder Hall. Georgia? Second by Oliver. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Donna? Gruder Hall lease?
Yes.
Yes. 5. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Anything else?
Motion to, approve the business office, report.
Yeah. The motion to approve this manager's report. Georgia? Second by Oliver. All in favor, motion, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Donna?
Yes.
5. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Moving on. 2.3, superintendent's report. Danny, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to start with the third reading of the athletic and coaches manual. Trevor?
Good evening, everyone. I know last time I was up here, you guys recommended a few changes based on the dress code and having the student and parents printer name. I had that, added that in there, and also fixed my correction on the induction. But other than that, the lawyer had made a few suggestions. Suggested that I add in overnight, like the hotel policy. So that was added in there as well. And then filing the complaint kind of gave me, he recommended that I kind of explain the procedure of like how many days it takes for them to file a complaint, how many days we have to respond, and then also how many days we have to investigate. So I added that in there as well. I just put 15 school days, which would be 3 weeks.
That's in the athletic one, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we jumped from coaching to the athletic one.
My bad. Then he also recommended, like on the chain of command on the 7th one, where it says RST police, he put in there that law enforcement may be contacted at any point to protect the health and safety and well-being of people involved. So that was added in there as well. And also the dress code. This is in the athletic manual.
So who's in charge of overnight, you or the coaches, or both?
The coaches.
Let the parents know, okay.
Yeah.
And you follow up on that, or the overnight policy?
So so parents need to be informed, so I would like the coaches to inform and send out like a letter, you know, for Al and I, like for example, sending out letters a week before, providing contact information, just a little itinerary. And, any overnight trips, I put the ratio, which is 1 to 4 from our parent institute, that handbook I've seen there. And just kind of explain to have a list of assigned rooms and no switching the list, and then the coaches will provide that list to me on anything overnight. But one thing I do have a question, because our ratio is 1 to 4, and say like at Al and I, we have 15 to a team, and there's only 3 coaches. So therefore, the team would only be allowed to take 12 based off of that ratio.
I think we only sent security guard with.
Security, or
Yeah,
yourself?
one security with
More
both.
security, female and male?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're in the area too, so I think that's more.
So yeah, that's what I figured, but I just thought I'd ask that.
Yeah.
So that's what I put into the athletic manual, and then with the coach's manual, just the same thing overnight, explaining I didn't switch anything up. Then the coach's dress code, I kind of added that in there. The acceptable apparel and the forbidden apparel. But I also noted that, because I don't want the coach, like the basketball coaches, I don't want them coaching with like a hat or a visor or anything like that. But I did note that if you are cross country or pretty much basically coaching outside, you are able to wear that protective gear for your head. Other than that, that's all I have. I guess going off of the report, just with athletics, just been trying to keep busy, trying to keep these students active. About to be coming out with our July camps. We just have to finalize some dates, so I'll get that out as soon as possible. Next week we start that moratorium, so we can't have any activities going on. So we'll be shut down there. We obviously will have some rep going. Other than that, our students been staying pretty busy. Our football programs, they've been having some. They've been coming back with some good stuff about how the 6-on-6 league's going on out there. They actually got invited to go to a prospect camp out in Chadron State in July. So that'll be free of charge. So we'll just have to work on transporting and getting them out there too. So yeah, these kids are staying active, that's for sure. Any questions?
I have a question back to that reading.
Yeah.
you were saying to contact law enforcement, but Danny, will we have an SRO on duty also?
If, again, that depends solely on the police department, it's, the holdup is there. But we will if they give us one.
Still nothing from them?
Nothing. We have the resolution passed, we have everything, the MOU's been signed since November. They keep saying that no one wants to apply from their department.
Okay, there's a judiciary on Friday, I'll ask.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you guys have any other questions, you can feel free to email me. If you have anything on the handbook or if anything comes up. When do we have to have these completed by, when's like the final?
Today's the final.
Okay, cool.
Night.
Well, never mind.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been pretty thorough with the lawyer and with Trevor, and this is the first time we've ever had a coaching handbook. And that's really positive for the direction that Trevor wants to take our sports and athletics and activities, so everything's pretty well defined.
Any other questions, comments? If not, okay, motion for approval. SFIS athletic activity handbook and the coaching handbook. Nicole moved. Need a second? Georgia, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Donna?
Yes.
5, opposed, 0, not voting, 0. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next, we'll do the middle school, high school. Gina?
Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, so for our handbook for the middle school, high school, I added the middle school back into the high school handbook, so it's one. So if you look through it, it has all of the middle schools that are back in it. The other thing that I did is I did put our theme for the year on the cover, student achievement, student focused. And then on the back of the first page, I did add in the contact information for the middle school. And of course, I'll update that as we know. But pretty much everything else has already been covered. There hasn't been any other new changes from the last meeting.
This is our third reading. Any other questions, comments? If not, okay, motion for approval, middle school handbook.
Motion to approve.
Excuse me? Motion approved. Okay, Donna moves. Second?
I'll second.
Oliver? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Opposed? Donna? Almost forgot Donna.
Yeah.
5, opposed, 0, not voting, 0. Motion carried. Middle school handbook is passed.
Thank you.
Oh, actually, too?
They were combined,
Combined.
because they were the
Combined.
same.
Combined, okay.
Yeah. Now we'll do elementary with Richard.
Danny. I'm not adjusted language being told, I'm not prepared because I couldn't get no information or anything. So I just wanted to let you know I wasn't copying. Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, good evening. School board, administrative team. Just got a few changes since Monday. Cover page. put under the theme, student achievement and student focused. That's the first change. The second change was the next page. We wanted the contact information. So got myself, Dana, Becky, Sandra, Totes, and Karen, Summer, and Madonna, all the people in the elementary building that had been. Okay. Next change would be the table of contents on page 1. At the bottom, include the parent-school compact. And that is on page 32. And that's the other change. Page 32. Moving on, the second to last page. Put the theme in there again. Student achievement and student focus. And that's basically the changes made on Monday. Any questions?
Any questions, comments? Thank you, Richard. Entertain motion for approval, elementary K-5 handbook, student handbook. Oliver, second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Donna?
Yes.
5, opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, staff, and a lot of hard work running tables. Handbooks. I'm still looking for a security handbook. I know we're not there, but
You mean the school safety plan?
yeah.
I'll email that tomorrow.
Okay. It's ready. School year. Alright, moving on.
Pretty much that's it, unless Sandra, do you have anything?
If you guys look at both my reports, I'm really busy the month of May. So if you see in my report, I shared pictures with you in my May report, what we did the month of May. Our students went out to Denver Art Museum, had opportunities on the 3rd floor to draw and leave their stuff up on the wall. So that was really beneficial. And then we also took a group of senior GATE students to the Institute of American Art in Santa Fe. And we actually went to a Van Gogh art show. It was really cool. The floor was moving. It was just really cool. They actually have one of those in Denver, Colorado, so if you get the opportunity, they have a Van Gogh showing there also. It's really cool. And we have Kylie that's probably going to go to USD. I was hoping she would think about the school in Santa Fe because they are one of the only schools in the United States, or there's only a couple of them, that have this big old dome computerized. It is so cool what the art students have done. We actually sat in gaming chairs and watched above the videos that the students do over there. If we can, I'm doing a liaison with the gentleman there. Take more students down there to look at that. They've got a new building for several years now compared to the old one, and it's just, I'm just amazed. Like all the opportunities that our kids can have within there. It's not just studio art. It's not just drawings. It's just computerized, digital. It's just like even drama, learning how to use cameras. I mean, the school has a lot to offer to our students, the dorms and everything. So I think those are some opportunities that we can take our students down there, not just the ones in art, because there's so many a variety of stuff that we're doing. And we're moving in a new direction in the GATE program this coming year.
I'm working with Pete to order different Macs that will focus on digital art, music production, and things that will help enhance our students to be ready to go into those universities and be able to take it to another new level. So I'm just really excited about that. We had students this past month in June participate in the Kodak band art concerts last week. They got to take home their guitars. It was really cool. I'm hoping that next year we can get more students. I did have it advertised. I sent emails out to the administrators to help encourage 7th through high school. So hopefully I can get some more students to go. But right now we do have band. They sound awesome. I'm hoping, I put it out there again on our Facebook page to have more students join. We still have another month of kids learning different instruments and things like that. So I'm hoping a lot more students can participate in from 1:30 to 5:30 every day. So I put it out there on Facebook, and I'm hoping that students will be able to do that. But we're trying to renovate. We're trying to have new ideas for even our art room. I talked to maintenance about taking out the stuff in the science room, and we're looking to buy art tables. I'm just so excited. I'm excited about new things that we're trying to do with our program, and hopefully these new ideas will attract more students into our program when they see the opportunities that they can, do with leadership and academics and things like that. Just need to get myself an elementary teacher so we can expand more. We're very fortunate though that Damon took on that position for us this year to help out. But we're really working towards expanding the program for this coming school year. But I shared some pictures with you. Like I said, Kylie's, we're really happy for her, how she's grown, and she's gonna go into USD, and we're hoping this coming year we're gonna have Jordan and Victoria, and you'll see the pictures that they did at the Oscar Howe Institute. They were there for a couple weeks, so they did tremendous when they were over there. Any questions for me?
When you said Facebook, is that the school Facebook or your personal?
No, the St. Francis one.
Okay.
It's on there. I added it on there.
Good experience.
Yes, great opportunities. I mean, I just want to open those doors for our students. If we can find things for them to facilitate where they can bring it back, and even teach other students some things too. So I'm hoping that we can rely on some of our students like Kylie to come back and have a class with our students during her school year and stuff like that. Just a lot of new ideas. I'm just rolling with them. I'm excited. So we just got to work on little maintenance things and things like that within our classrooms and stuff.
Good job.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome.
Pete, you have anything on you?
No. Here. Okay. Good evening, y'all. Just a little update on what we're doing. I'm just going to follow along with the board report that I submitted. We're still working on the new line boards. We have one here, but to get connected in all the classrooms and get trainings done for the staff. They're really nice boards. They're built-in computers. They're wireless. They can do a lot of stuff, and also they're 4K. So you'll notice the difference right away when we get disconnected and we move out this little mounting pad here. Kind of got slowed down with that with the Secretary of Treasury's visit. That was probably took up about 5 days of my time, and we got that done. Also, we had it in down in and that was partly due to the storm that we had. The sustained high winds that started the fire out west. And if you ever get a chance to look, but on this building there's a small antenna, there's another small antenna on the O&M building. We had, in our line of sight, there were some tree branches in the way. They were about 20 foot up, and so it wasn't safe for staff in the bus garage go up with a chainsaw trying to get them down. So worked with Fred and Aragon and Stan. They used a front end loader. And they were able to get a chain onto it and pull it down. So now we have a clear line of sight between antennas. What was interesting is once we got that out of the way and restored the signal, we were still having connectivity issues. And what that was is when we first installed these about 4 or 5 years ago, we were on one channel, and default channel, and there wasn't as much internet around, wireless in the housing and in the community, and also on cell phones and stuff. So we were still having connectivity issues, so we connected into the control console over there, and we found out there was a lot of interference on that channel from all these different signals. And so we changed it to a higher channel, and we didn't have all that interference. And so it just was interesting how much we've grown in the community with internet signal at home and on phones and stuff. So everything's working now. That kind of took up about 3 days there, so it kind of put us back on getting our new line boards up. You guys will really like those. They're the color, the picture is so clear and stuff. So we'll get started back on that. We're still working on surplus inventory. A lot of those devices are sold. We can't get the newest operating systems on them. Without that newest operating system, then we can't get the new browsers or updates. So even if we gave them away, they wouldn't work right. And we probably have a lot of complaints of people, this doesn't work or so. So we've gotten about 110 monitors done. We're close to right around 100 desktops ready. We're working on printers right now. As soon as we get that list, we'll get that list to Danny. Danny will approve that surplus list, and Danny will bring it to you all for approval. Once that's done, we can get some of our recyclers to come in. I have a new recycler I want to test out there from Wisconsin, and they'll actually pay us a little bit for our old equipment. Probably what they're going to do is part them out, take the parts out that are still usable, and resell them. So, been in contact with them. We're just waiting for this review. We're still working on setting up our new Chromebook labs for next year, inventory on that. How we do that is we make one list of inventory of everything, and then we put them into Chromebook cards, and we assign, we record the serial numbers on each Chromebook into that card, and then we check that card out to a classroom teacher, and that teacher signs off on all the technology in the classroom. That'll be part of the inventory too, and it's pretty important. Looking at the inventory for the past 2 years, while a year I was gone, it needs work. And so we're going to hustle up, try to get that done for the auditors, so that we're all clear there. I think that's pretty much it right now. The keyless entry access system's almost done. We have 3 more doors to do at the elementary. Midwest Alarms, I believe, will be back in about 2 weeks to complete that. Had the training on the printer and creating the cards and stuff. There's still some small issues with the cards, what kind of design we went on. Right now, those cards are just regular hotel card keys, but I was looking at something that we could put some kind of holder on it so it won't be as easy to be lost. So we're right there with that. It's moving right along. From there, I'm not sure when they'll start phase 2, Danny, but that'll be up to you guys. They've been doing pretty good. They're really busy. They've been kind of jumping back and forth between jobs, but we're almost ready to go in about 2 weeks. Another thing I need to do is get with the principals, Danny, program directors, and see who needs a card, what type of access they need on that card, and we can even do dates and times when that card will work on the computer.
Pretty much it'll make the key system obsolete here now, and it's been a long time in coming, so we won't have duplication of keys anymore or any of that. It just depends on what rights you get on your card, and we'll determine that who gets what rights to what building and the type of.
Discussion with everybody
Yeah.
to figure that out. So that's coming tomorrow and Friday. It's been a long time coming for our printers, network printers, access systems out of Sioux Falls was in the process of upgrading all our printers and copiers. But because of the chip shortage, it's been taking a while to get these printers in for us. We even had to go back and change make and models of something that was available. And so finally they have everything in stock, and they'll be coming Thursday and Friday. And we'll be installing those printers. We have to assign them static IP addresses, so they're more dependable. They're not losing connectivity here, so we just use the regular static IP address. So hopefully that goes smooth tomorrow and Friday. It's been pretty hectic here. A lot of these projects here kind of put us behind. There's not much we can do about it. We just have to prioritize things as they come and keep moving forward. So that's about it for technology. If anybody has any questions, answer them right now.
All right, yeah, everything under control.
It just looks like there's some. Thank you.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
What? You actually quiet?
Barbara.
The only thing that I have is the count on summer school. Now, you want me to share that with everybody? Right now, totaling the academic summer school for K-12 is 152 students, which is pretty much a quarter of the entire student population is coming back for academic summer school. 63 students, K-12, have come back for the PBL, the project-based learning. And then these are just the numbers that I have from the applications that I've processed through NASIS. There's 63 elementary students participating in summer rec. I'm sure there's more. These are the ones I got the applications for. 36 for middle school, high school summer rec, and about 100 students so far participating in various sports camps. So it's really encouraging to see the students come back. I know that a lot of the high school students are coming back and fixing the classes they failed. The high school's been very proactive about locating these students and having them come back, especially the athletes, making sure they understand they've got to pass courses to participate in the fall. So they've been real active, and all of the academic summer school is well represented and really coming back in. So these numbers are real good, and I'm sure there are more than these. I just didn't get all the lists from the camps yet, so. Good numbers on summer school. I did roll all of the calendars into NASIS for the 2022-23 school year. I'm in the process of entering the master schedule from the high school, which Gina got done. After that, then Arlie can start to structure schedules and get those ready for August when the students come in to meet with her. And all of the consumables came in. You saw those pallets? Thank God they did get them into the bus garage before it rained. Huge. They asked me, they called me, Hook Nickel wanted to know if I wanted the shipment early, and I said yes. Because if we wait towards school, then everything gets backordered and we don't get it. So I said, if you've got it, ship it out to us. So we got 2 full pallets, and I think there's probably more coming, but they're all stored in the elementary shop until we distribute them.
It was last week or the week before in the newspaper, there was transportation pictures. That was right, yeah.
It's the first time we ever had an open house. That was really good. I think you guys are planning another open house, so.
Deb, I know you have something.
We found some vape sensors, that's awesome.
All right.
Our cell phone lockers came in. Yes.
I mentioned that because one of the schools, the people that I work, go to school with education law, they have sensors in their bathroom, and the security actually has like a thing on his thing, and when it goes off. So I thought that was really cool.
It's the little things you get excited over.
Yeah. Okay, entertain motion for executive session, personnel. Nicole, second. Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Donna. Executive session. 5. Opposed, 0, not voting 0. Executive session, 7 p.m.
Is it okay to excuse it?
Yeah. All right, declare this executive session, 7:38 p.m. Donna, you with us?
Do we wanna?
Yes.
Okay, I got some motions, need approval on. First one will be entertain motion for the field bids. Entertain motion to continue with current vendors. Nicole moves. Need a second. Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Donna.
Yes.
4. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Entertain motion to reaffirm summer school, summer rec. Oh, and then how do you?
Summer program.
Summer program. Just reaffirm. Georgia. Second by Nicole. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Donna.
Yes.
4. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. There's a motion to approve the 2022-23 school board meeting calendar. Motion for approval on the calendar. Nicole. Second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Donna.
Yes.
4. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Taking into Troy's report, HR. Resignation, they take motion for approval of resignations. Ida Viola, middle school, with penalty. Casey Marshall, Teresa Young, middle school principal, with penalties. Lee Landra, with penalty. And Kaylee Claremont. Motion for approval. Accept resignations. Nicole, second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Donna.
Yes.
4. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Recommendations for hire. Gabe Hawkins, library aide. Francis Richards, transportation. Trish Llewellyn, mental health department. Steph Whiteye, county tech, retro May 1st. Nathan Downer, high school social studies. Catherine Keaton, high school language arts. Neola Solitaire, elementary physical education teacher. Willie Thompson, transportation. Stacy Honeyhorse, inventory clerk, fixed assets. Make a motion for approval. Nicole. Second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Donna.
Yes.
4. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Make a motion for approval. Work agreement with Juliana Bench. Nicole. Second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Donna.
Yes.
4. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Terminations, name on file. 3 of them. Okay, motion for approval. Nicole. Second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3. Donna.
Yes.
4. Opposed, 0. Not voting, 0. Motion carried. Reduction in force. Name on file.
Yeah.
Name on file. Reduction in force, enter file. Motion for approval, Nicole, second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, Donna.
Yes.
4, opposed, 0, not voting, 0, motion carried. Enter motion for approval, first reading of the extra duty pay policy, first reading, and leave for director and principals policy, first reading. Enter motion for approval, Nicole, second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, Donna.
Yes.
4, opposed, 0, not voting, 0, motion carried. Anything else? Okay, motion for adjournment. Nicole, second by Georgia. All in favor, raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, Donna.
Yes.
4, opposed, 0, not voting, 0. We are adjourned, 7:43 PM.